What's up YouTube? Scott, Skyline Tradition, back with another video. First I'd like to give a shout out to Mark Fu 3112 and Mike Baseball Collector for having me on Beyond Cardboard a couple days ago. Was on Beyond Cardboard on Sunday. I will leave a link to that interview in the comment section. So feel free to go check that out if you haven't already. Basically just interview for an hour. You get to learn a little more about Scotty Tradition and myself and what I do beyond cards, and a little bit more about my collection in general. So go check that out if you haven't already. Was a lot of fun being on there. And then I'd also like to do a contest response for Rick at Vintage Oddball Cards. Basically, he is asking us in our contest here to share a card that you have in your collection that is either miscut or off-centered, and maybe why you bought that card or what's your reasoning for buying miscut and off-centered cards. So for me, it's easy. Like, believe it or not, I only have one card in my entire collection that is off-centered. That's how much I value centering. So now for an example, let's just take a look at this card here. So this is the 54 Red Heart Stan Musial card, and so you can see the centering is pretty good on this card. And then you look at the corners, you can see why it's a 2. All the corners are rounded, really rough corners. But these are the kind of cards that I look for, especially for the top 250 set, which is where this card goes. I personally, that's just my personal preference, would rather have a card that is centered and has good quality color on the images, and I think this card has all of that. Of course, where it's lacking is the corners and the edges, which is why this card gets a technical grade of a 2, even though I think it presents a lot better than that. And for some of these cards that I display, I don't care that it's a 2 really. It's more about the centering and the color that catches your eye right away. So that's kind of why I gravitate towards those. I put a high importance on centering and color, and just from my experience, and when you're trying to have cards in your collection that are liquid, that you can get rid of quickly if need be. Centering is a big deal to, I'd say, most vintage collectors, especially. So if you have a nicely centered copy with great color, that card is going to move a lot easier than a card that is off-centered or miscut. I just think that there are certain collectors out there, and quite a few of them, not a small number, that would they would definitely pass on a miscut or off-centered card, even for a centered card in a lower grade. So that's just my personal preference on it. So we'll set Stan back there. And the one card in my collection that goes against that thinking is the 48 Bowman Buford Ray. Now I did show this card in my Beyond Cardboard episode. This actually is either the first or the second hardest card in the entire Green Bay Packers Team Hall of Fame set, as far as condition goes. You can see it's number 108. It's the last card in the 48 Bowman football set. This card was a short print, and it was the last card on the sheet. Definitely had all kinds of centering issues just because of where it was located on the sheet. And because it was the last card in the set, when people would rubber band it together, it was always on the bottom, usually. And so it had other condition issues that way. So very rare to find in any kind of high grade. As I mentioned in the Beyond Cardboard episode, took me about 5 years to actually find this 7, even though it's it's not a nicely centered 7 like I'd like. It's got great corners and edges, but where it lacks is obviously the centering. So I'd actually prefer a copy that was probably a 6 that was centered, but I'll definitely take this 7 just because there's nothing out there that exists, and that's the reason why I went for an off-centered card here, is because there's just no other ones that exist. So in that case, I was willing to make an exception for the centering. Just a sweet card though, cool example. I always liked it on the back. You could They have the little offer there that expires 2/8/1949 from Bowman Gum Incorporated. And you could get a regulation touch football, valve inflated, if you send $1, and a touchdown wrappers, 10 touchdown wrappers to this address. So pretty funny. But yeah, that is literally, and I scoured my collection, especially my graded collection, and this is actually the only one that I would consider off-centered. I actually don't have any miscut cards in the collection. So good luck with the rest of your contest, Rick. I think it's a great contest idea. You have a great channel. I enjoy hearing your insight. I love that you collect lots of different stuff too. You know, football, basketball, and baseball. You're not just pigeonholed to baseball, which is pretty cool. I always like the channels that have a lot of good variety. And also, very generous couple prizes you're giving away there. Like when it comes to a Johnny Unitas rookie card, it doesn't matter that it's off-centered or miscut or whatever. It's still a Johnny Unitas rookie, and that is a definitely a classic, iconic football card right there. So best of luck with the rest of your contest. Also wanted to give a shout out to Donnie, the Murph398. He sent a care package my way, and it was filled with tons of basketball, football, and baseball cards, mostly Brewers, Packers, and Bucks. And it's been a lot of fun going through them with my boys, especially my oldest son, Wes, as I kind of explain all the players to him. So really fun to go through. We still have a couple more of those packs to open up. Maybe in the next video I will show some of the highlights of that, but a lot of them are kind of, base cards but they do go back to the 80s and 90s, which is awesome. There's some just some cool inserts as well, which I definitely love the 90s inserts, so I'm a sucker for those. So it's been a lot of fun going through those. So thank you, Donnie, for thinking of me and my kids and sending the care package my way. That's awesome. And again, I will share the highlights of those care packages in the next video or two. So thanks so much for watching, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.